傷つくこと恐れて立ち止まることよりもできなかった後悔の方がきっとずっと痛い心を壊すくらいならやめてもいいんだよ。笑える方へ胸が弾む方へただ進めばいい。迷ってしまっても焦らなくていい。本当の居場所は自分の中にある。ヒリヒリと痛む治りきらない傷をいつの日かかさぶたになって忘れられるよ。もう死んだから前を向いて私が生きてるのは今本当にやりたいことはあるか。決して譲れない想いはあるか。帰る場所があって初めて人は自由になれる。いざ行こう光さす想え歩き出そう未開の地へ。
Good evening and welcome back to my Dwarven Fortress, where, as we can see from the state I've left this in, our mayor is trying to return, in quotation marks, a treasure to the visiting, also possibly in quotation marks, goblin horde who have asked for a rather nondescript copper spear, and we would quite like to give it to them because frankly the only good thing about it is its reputation. It's apparently quite soggy now, probably because the mayor keeps dropping it on the beach. The problem here, I think, is that the mayor keeps getting scared off by something. I would guess a giant albatross because that seems to be the most likely thing, but I can't find it. Of course, a giant albatross being awkward because it'll be flying, and so could be quite a long way above the mayor. But yes. No, they're all friendly, most of them. But giant albatrosses are a bit of a problem, and so like the mayor will run away for a bit, calm down,
and then come back and be dive bombed by the albatross again. We think. Okay.
Right, now she's coming back again. She's decided she can. No, I'm going to do this. I can get that spear. Really, I can. Strides purposefully towards the spear, disappears into the sea spray, and gets terrified again. Right, have you changed your intellectual values in favour of not being scared of wildlife? Because that would be really helpful. I mean, I don't really know what it is that you're being scared of.
Is this some kind of exposure therapy?
I mean, eventually she might feel a bit tougher. Right, just need to get to there. No. Terrified again. Right, let's... So, like, it's not the invaders. They are, after all, still somewhat peaceful. For all that there are a lot of them. So we have a giant Kia, but it's way on the other side of the map and not actually hostile. And like similarly, anything that's not agitated shouldn't be a problem. The Drouther and the cave crocodile, Drouthers and the cave crocodile are downstairs, so it should be the case that the only interesting creature is this giant albatross. And it is, I suppose, fairly close. If it could leave the map, that will make our lives a lot simpler.
Can we not use it to target that?
Well, we don't have any ranged weapons. We could try.
Oh yes, you decided not to try to.
But early in the game, there was the problem that when I started, there were apparently bugs in training with ranged weapons, and so I never really bothered. So we seem to have some giant wild boar piglets. We'll see if we can get them permanently tame as well. So yes, this giant albatross is currently just hanging around. Somewhere well above ground, scaring the mare, I think. I think the mare, I think, is going to be able to get away. But I think the mare is going to be able to get away. But I think the mare is going to be able to get away. But I think the mare is going to be able to get away. But I think the mare is going to be able to get away. But I think the mare is going to be able to get away. But I think the mare is going to be able to get away. But I think the mare is going to be able to get away. But I think the mare is going to be able to get away. But I think the mare is going to be able to get away. But I think the mare is going to be able to get away. But I think the mare is going to be able to get away. But I think the mare is going to be able to get away. But I think the mare is going to be able to get away. But I think the mare is going to be able to get away. But I think the mare is going to be able to get away. But I think the mare is going to be able to get away. But I think the mare is going to be able to get away. But I think the mare is going to be able to get away. But I think the mare is going to be able to get away. But I think the mare is going to be able to get aw And that might well mean that the mare reliably can't get to this thing if she keeps being scared at about the same place. Oh, she has managed to pick it up. Right. Can she... No, she's dropped it again.
You haven't done the mouse pointer thing.
Oh, I haven't done the mouse pointer thing. Let's do the mouse pointer thing, yes. 1 moment while I find the mouse pointer thing. There it is. Right, that should be a bit more visible.
Yes.
It's kind of comically visible. Yes, but I think maybe usefully so as well. I mean, I could go for a smaller size, but this one works, so...
Well, if you want the mouse pointer to be visible, you could set it on fire. That would make Claire happy.
Why are you now being uncertain each step you take, but deciding not to go any further? And continuing to retreat from the actual treasure that wants returning. This is why we always end up in fights with the goblins. It's just too hard to organise peace. Like, if you guys could just send someone up here to collect this, or indeed to shoot that albatross, then something good might come of it. But right now, the mare, despite notionally being returning the treasure, is slowly walking away from it, getting uncertain at each step where to go next, but on each step nonetheless choosing to go further away.
Is the French dictionary fairly easily accessible?
You're a strange mare. So at some point, the goblins will get bored.
So I sit there and go, so the alphabet, how does that work?
So I'm like slightly wondering whether it's going to be quite hard to organise building anything in this time, isn't it?
Right, okay, I don't exactly.
Oh, I had a thought, but I bet it won't work. What happen? Can I assign?
How much does it feel like if it gets to the way?
Right, so I could, for instance, we do have a breeding pair of grizzlies, don't we? Let's try not to lose those for now. But we could attach our giant war jaguar to the mare and see if that gives the mare some... Oh, is that permanent? That's interesting. Oh well. And see if that gives the mare a bit more courage. I fear it won't, though. Especially since the mare appears to be going in, as is now becoming conventional, completely the wrong direction. Oh no, now she might be going in the right direction. Maybe the giant war jaguar will come to meet her. Why are you going over here? Oh, you're going to sleep now, are you? Okay. I mean, I say okay. I mean, don't you have anything better to do? Maybe we should do something about these flooded rooms. That we've now fixed the cause of, have we? Well, we've drained all the water out and we're waiting for that door to be removed, yes. So, like, if we removed a couple of walls, then the water would come out and then we could put them back again. So now the mayor is asleep. So is...
Pick the treasure up and move it closer to the goblins, and then when the werewolves
Maybe, yeah. I'm just wondering if we could do something like that. Is it currently tangled up with the task? And can we untangle it? Where is it, in fact? That one? No. I presume the goblins wouldn't suddenly be really happy if we accidentally melted it down.
Do you not make them go away first and then melt it down?
But yeah, but we don't. The only way we can make them go away, as opposed to dying, is by giving it to them.
But if it ceases to exist, what ends up in the sea?
Yes. Well, if it ends up in the sea, then obviously we can't give it to them. I'm not sure what they would think if we destroyed it. As it stands, I've lost it anyway. All right. It's currently the. All right. The mayor is currently sleeping with it. Oh no, hang on. A militia captain has got it. Has taken it back and is engaging in individual combat drill holding it. Right, okay. What I'm going to do then, and this is a bit brave, and I'll need to spot if the...
The albatross comes?
no, if the... actually, I should check the location of the albatross. Check if... yes, there it is. If the... I'll need to do something about this if the goblins turn hostile. But what I'm going to do is lower the bridge across... actually, let's lower both bridges across the river so that the mare has routes available that take her less close to the albatross. But we will, of course, need to put those bridges back if the goblins move. Right. So you have to spot the goblins becoming hostile. Ideally, before they start killing anyone. And if we're lucky, the mayor will wake up, retrieve the thing, work out that the direct route is over this bridge, and all will be well. I'm not very hopeful, but there's a random doctor coming to pick up some equipment. I wonder what they're coming to pick up. I feel fine watching something that's happening down here because then I'll see if the... Okay, you have acquired another cloak. Okay. So now we're mostly just sitting here watching these goblins in case they do something dangerous. There's a good creak from the house.
So it sounds like some salt.
And now it started raining.
Lots of salt.
Wow, that's quite some rain. Pink Beast says on IRC, let us hope the mayor does not take all evening to deliver the spear. I think the goblins will get pissed off before that happens, based on past experience.
Going that way, it lasts about
'Cause I mean, to an extent, if we could pull this bridge up at a time when a few goblins have made it across and a few more were standing on it, that might actually be a good thing, because splitting them up into small groups is helpful. Oh yes, also I think at some point I should build a bridge across the river up here somewhere so that we can encourage goblins that arrive in the southwest to head over here, where we will continue providing entertainment for them. The mayor is now storing an item in a bin. That's not what you should be doing, my dear mayor.
Depends on the item, but presumably that is.
I mean, at least you're not asleep anymore, but you really should be taking this,
moving
that
back
spear.
when you should be doing something else. It's displacement activity.
Yes. So, what? I mean, mostly we're hoping that the dwarves will get married. I mean, this is actually what we're primarily doing at the moment. There are some goblins around, but most of the dwarves are meant to be socialising so that they can become friends, and preferably more than friends.
Very good friends.
Like, you've got 15 zillion kindred spirits. Can we do better? I mean, the longer the goblins wait, the more giant hamsters we've got. Though admittedly, all the giant hamsters seem to be in the wrong place now. Probably because it's no one's job to put them back. Now, they do seem to be getting automatically assigned to the correct pasture. What are you doing? You're a raven. Why are you a raven? Yes, why are you there then? Oh yes, on the subject of animal training. Oh right, back to returning treasure. Right, that's a good sign. Currently holding the spear in question. And departing the fortress.
In the right direction or the wrong direction?
Don't know yet, hasn't reached the front door.
Okay.
Well, front hatch cover. That looks like a good direction to be going in. Keep moving. She is still repeatedly feeling vengeful when joining existing conflicts, but not yet terrified.
What conflict? Find a conflict.
She does keep pausing to think about where to go, but is still progressing in the kind of direction I would hope for. Just don't get scared of the goblins and hope they don't suddenly become hostile when you arrive. But frankly, it'll be your own fault if they do. I presume the return treasure job will get immediately cancelled if they become hostile, so it should be obvious.
Ah, this is a specific job for this.
Yes. So this job she started doing once I had agreed to return the treasure.
1653 service to the goblins will arrive on platform Stoke.
Right, now you just need to find the goblin commander.
A bit balanced out. I wish we had that as Goblin Commando, which would definitely affect.
Unfortunately, the goblins are forming quite a dense crowd. Right, she has stopped doing that, and the goblins are leaving and not attacking. Excellent, right. It is possible to get them to go away.
Success.
And like 0 fatalities so far.
Who is peeved by the loss of the spear?
Yeah, probably the person who owned it is a bit peeved, but like they can get a better spear. I think I even told them to get a better spear. Right, okay, goblins gone at the cost of like 1 copper spear, which admittedly means that we got very little profit, but
1 copper spear and copious mare hours of faff.
yeah. Right, we can release the dwarves back to their socialising now. Because we did still tie up the military just in case.
Now they can go back to socialising.
I mean, I think I might want to... I think we need more musical instruments if this is going to happen. If we're going to make the place cheerful. So I want to try to get more animal training happening because I think that's actually urgent. So you two are meant to be training animals. Let's see where Sodalatarog is and what they're doing. Right, they're currently sleeping. Outdoors because the soldiers appear to have weird priorities. But I hope Sodalatarog, once they wake up, will then get back to doing some animal training because I think that's quite urgent. Right. I'm going to adjust things a bit so that initially the only things that have assigned trainers, you don't need a trainer at all because you're domesticated and trained for war. You kind of do, but let's temporarily set anything that's not a child and hence in immediate need of training to no trainer, so that we prioritise training the children, which will then stay trained. This means I'm then going to have to go all the way back through these and reset them. Afterwards. Oh, we could train a giant cave swallow for hunting. I wonder if that would do anything interesting. Maybe it could go out and... No, I don't really want to kill all the wildlife. I just want to get rid of that single giant albatross, or at least get it to move.
Killing all the wildlife isn't hunting, it's some other kind of thing like extermination. Hunting is where you leave enough wildlife that there'll be more for you to hunt next time.
Yes, dwarves are not good at that. Not without careful micromanagement. I do have a lot of tame animals in this fortress. Well, somewhat trained animals mostly. And yeah, the problem with the giant hamsters is because they'll never become permanently tame. As long as we have a supply of giant hamsters, they'll need a lot of training, which is kind of fine, except that right now I have other priorities. And the number of giant hamsters we have is kind of silly. Right. I mean, Sodalaterol will probably train this stray giant hamster anyway, but should then prioritise the ravens and the giant wild boar. Where is Sodalaterol anyway? There. I'll unpause, that'll work better. Are you like having to go and get some food to feed it? Possibly we need a food supply out near the animals, but... Or possibly you're trying to track down the correct hamster. There do appear to be giant hamsters everywhere in this fortress. Like everywhere you look, there's a giant hamster. Right, no, now you're distracted by an individual combat drill. I mean, yeah, you're allowed to do that if you want to, but... You'll notice that there is also an enormous cloud of giant hamsters in the area where we're doing individual combat drills.
Well, I think that's probably fair. If you're going to be in the military in this fortress, you're going to have to fight under the among a collection of obstacles that are mostly giant hamsters. Why shouldn't you train the same way?
Yes. The number of giant hamsters here is ludicrous, though. I mean, I appreciate their purpose is probably mostly as an ablative meat shield and distraction for goblins. But it'd be nice if they could be an ablative meat shield and distraction somewhere near where the goblins will be, rather than here.
But wasn't the previous complaint that when the hamsters were near where the goblins will be, so was some bloke out there training them without
Yeah.
in the world?
True, true. Yes, yes. If you put them out there, then someone goes and trains them. Look, oh, do I need to explicitly assign? I think at least some of those are explicitly assigned to Sodal Atarog. No, they're not at the moment. Let's try explicitly saying, look, our best animal trainer should be training the ravens. But no, they're instead engaged in individual combat drills, which I'm sure is good, but it would be much more helpful if you could go and... Oh, did you just move? Go and pay attention to the ravens. Oh. Like, it won't take you long. That wasn't the button I was interested in. I wanted to inspect people who are socialising and seeing if they can, like... Is this... You've got a lover, that's nice. They're alive, that's even better. If you can manage to socialise with them a bit more, you might be able to marry them. Then happiness would ensue. Well, maybe, or at least children. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, you're constructing a building. I didn't know you were allowed to do that. Well, carry on. Maybe we'll be able to get the remaining dwarves able to swim by kind of accident. If you can build that bridge. Are you like any good at it? You're a novice blacksmith, which I think is the skill needed for this job. So, Sassit thingamy. Yes, that is actually constructing the bridge that will allow us to drop water on training dwarves at some appropriate moment. Indeed, there are some dwarves waiting to be soaked. Hurrah. Wonder if I've got the numbers right. Quite important that we should finish building these two walls before we actually drop that, though. Oh, maybe that's why the walls have been a bit slow to build, is because they count as metalworking, and we have a metalworkers group, which was, I think, exclusive. Maybe actually I shouldn't have assigned everyone to don't do anything, or don't do anything other than your tasks, and should instead have been more in favour of like turning off entire work details. Oh well. Sure, at some point that bridge will be finished. How's Sodell doing? You willing to train anything yet? Nope, you're still... I mean, my guess is that they don't consider training the ravens to be a priority, possibly because it doesn't really need doing right now. But I would like it to happen soon. Yeah, I think we do have some that are... Yeah, I'm going to put semi-wild ones back to any trainer just so that they don't accidentally become fully wild, even though this might delay things a bit. That's how we can do that, isn't it? We set it to sort by trainedness, I think. It doesn't seem like it's obviously in the correct order. Semi-wild seems to appear in the middle between expertly trained and skillfully trained. You're sorting this mostly into alphabetical order of how trained they are. That's not helpful. Really, it's not. I think our worker here is drowsy because constructing this bridge is taking a very long time. I think they don't like drop dead of being unable to sleep. They will actually finish the job. But it might take a while. Oh no, fallen asleep, but they finished building the bridge. Right, excellent. Yes, that's right, that's allowed still. That one is suspended because we need that wall to be built first. And of course we kind of need there not to be a sleeping metal worker in the way. Not a lot of socialising going on. Indeed, I think there's one person socialising, which is not the ideal number. But possibly, I mean, we could kind of hope that listening to stories makes people like one another more. I don't know. She feels humiliated after sleeping in the mud. Well, yes, that's because you basically fell asleep the moment you finished your task because it took so long. Yes. So that gear assembly will start connected, and the bridge starts closed, which is one of the two states we want, isn't it? Yes, that's fine. So where do we have like a new pool drain that this is connected to? Yes. Right, yes, so there's new pool fill, which is already connected to the gear assembly. Right, good. So actually we can now connect new pool fill also to the bridge, because we're going to need that. And there might even be someone whose job that is. Right, the snoozy dwarf has de-snoozed. Is feeling humiliated about sleeping in the mud, but will probably cheer up upon getting some booze inside her. Oh, what are we doing about ghosts? We've got too many ghosts. No one is actually carving anything, possibly because our stoneworker, there's no one, we don't have a like stoneworkers group. We have a stone cutters group, but they're only doing stone cutting and not carving and not masonry. Could just give them the job of masonry as well. That would be. There we go. So apparently there is no one assigned to that group either. There we go, right. Are you going to be able to find anything to drink? Is this one of these, I want the particular drink that I really like and it's somewhere in the cellars, I'm sure of it, moment? You have found some fisherberry wine. Fisherberry? Yes. She's cheering her. Can I find the bit where we would... Yes, she likes fisherberry wine, so she has found her favourite drink. And now needs to put this goblet back into its proper home. So yes, this is a bit of a problem with... We have a phenomenal amount of booze, but this means that while all dwarves can probably be happy finding their favourite kind of booze, they are not necessarily going to find it easily.
So what you're saying is you need a booze library or something?
Yeah, some way that doesn't mean they have to end up trekking across the depths of the booze stockpiles. Ah, right, I think I may have discovered why our tasks for carving minecart track were not happening, because there was no one in the labour, in the thing, the work detail that was meant to be doing it. And so it didn't happen because I hadn't realised it was part of a work detail. Stoats. Oh well. So now I've put someone into the stoneworking group, mostly for the purposes of making that slab, which that someone is doing. No one appears to yet be building that wall. Which is one of the prerequisites for swimming training in the new system. Don't really want to schedule building more things until like some of that is done. I think you're carving track in places where I gave up and built it, which is a bit silly. Oh well, now going to pick up some equipment, who knows what. Right, we now have a slab at least. Now there's a longish walk back up to the surface, on the other surface.
Stoats.
So, wall being built yet? No. Walls seem to be treated as a rather low priority here. I mean, to an extent that's because we are deliberately treating them as a lower priority than trying to get the dwarves to like one another. That wasn't what I meant. You've got a lover. Yes, I think we knew about that one. Still an awful lot of unmarried dwarves around. So you're married. You're also engraving a memorial for us, which is nice. But far too many of them are at individual combat drill. And not socialising, which would be more helpful. Oops. So yes, not an awful lot going on, but at least someone is carving us a memorial to one of our ghosts, which will probably cheer the dwarves up a bit. So are all of these like on a schedule of really do nothing? They're nominally in ready mode, but I think that does mean don't actually do anything. Oh, you seem to be, that setting appears to be, yes, the ready routine. I think we want to sleep in their own room at will rather than sleep in the barracks at need. Possibly what we want actually is to edit the off-duty setting instead. And then that actually looks like off-duty is actually what we want. So no orders, or rather ready, is unnamed orders, equip always, sleep in barracks at need, and off-duty for these ones is still equip always, sleep in room at will. So that's the one they should be doing. Not that it'll make much difference. So, right, we some of the squads have different things for their routines. So let's make all of them have no orders, still require that they have off-duty. Still require that they keep their equipment. Obviously the Lardy-Larks are special. Actually, sorry, the Lardy-Larks shouldn't be that special. We should still make those say keep your equipment. It is impressive how the squad tasks user interface is still terrible in the new version, just differently so. I think I understand what I'm doing here now, but I'm not quite certain. I don't know if that will actually change very much. I think it might at least cause the dwarves to be less willing to randomly sleep in the mud, which probably wasn't helping with making them happy. Might reduce the amount of individual combat drill a bit. Surdo Outirog is still engaged mostly in individual combat drill, rather than training things, which is what I would like.
So silly very bad, really, but maybe he's only old and being too slippy.
So a little concerned about stray peregrine falcons for getting their training. So what are our current semi-wilds so that we can try to notice when something goes wrong with them? So yes, there's a tiercel peregrine and a raven and a kiwi. Maybe I do need to temporarily assign someone to deal with those, to deal with some of the wildlife. Probably means we now have that slab we wanted.
And it was very big cupcakes in the end, but the first in the list was skinny poultry. Good grief, it's huge.
Let's see if we can get that slab erected so that we can get rid of at least a ghost. No one seems to think that building this door is part of their task. But like, yes, maybe they just have higher priorities, because we do have a few dwarves who are actually allowed to do arbitrary tasks, but admittedly one of them is currently cleaning and the other one doesn't exist. What? Odom Olin Thurleth, who is married. He's currently set to not do all tasks. Do all tasks. Help me with the tasks. Well, I suppose that's a task. Okay, we have another strange mood. I mean, we are making artifacts faster than we give them to the goblins, and they don't even ask for artifacts most of the time. Aha! So Delatirog is training a raven hatchling. That's what we would like to see. We're slightly confused at why the raven hatchling is there, but so let us, I think you've just finished training one of them, I'm not sure. Yes, now you've gone on to a second one. Again, raven hatchling in a slightly surprising place, namely not in the ravenry. But we'll wait for you to finish this one. And training another raven hatchling because it's in the same room as you, I think. Okay, what's going on with that strange mood? Claim to clothier's shop. We'll have a look at that in a moment once we've checked on the raven situation. It appears to be like a crowd of animals. I suppose Sodel Atirog has So, oh, I'm back again. Well, I don't know what happened. Yes, we apologise for the loss of sound. Where were we? We were blithering about ravens, I think. In particular, about the fact that if we look up ravens here now, we can see that these three are labelled as tame, which is the most thoroughly tamed state that an animal can be in and is permanent. So those three hatchlings will never need training again, and any chicks that they produce will also not need training again. Slightly weird thing is it looks like I can't now de-assign their trainer because they're so tame. So they don't have an assign trainer button and hence don't have a de-assign trainer button. So they may be stuck having Sodel Atirog as a notional trainer for forever. Oh well. And Atirog is now working on our stray giant wild boar piglets in the hope of getting them permanently tame as well. Sadly, we can't do this to the giant hamsters. Our ghostly spearmaster is haunting the stoneworkers workshop where we're actually not trying to make a memorial to them because that's currently being installed. If only the giant hamsters will get out of the way. Right, there we are. Nishrisem Massos has been put to rest. In memory of Nishrisem Massos, born 37, struck down by the goblin Atu Lover Stolen with a copper morning star in Ongorgok, the outrageous assaults in the year 119, slayer of the giant osprey, friend of sheep.
Are there any sheep? I did hear that as that the osprey's name was friend of sheep.
No. Right. You've claimed a clothier's shop and you are shouting about something. Right. So what things have you got? You have no materials at the moment. You want rough gems, square blocks, skeletons, stacked cloth, a forest, shining bars of metal. Quarry, rough gems. None of those should be hard. Unless we're like totally out of the right kind of cloth. We've got plant cloth. Got silk cloth, we've got yarn cloth, think those are all the kinds of cloth. We've got plenty of wood for once. Have we accidentally ended up with no rough gems or something? I thought our systems were meant to stop that. Looks like we have an adequate quantity of rough gems. Yeah, there are some, albeit quite hard to get to. Problem is that because he hasn't picked up anything, it's slightly hard to know which is the first thing on the list. Where is this sandstone blocks though? Obviously if it's in a wall it's not very helpful. I suppose I could test that by going there are plenty of stone blocks available.
Sir Boris.
Yes. There are plenty of cloth of all types, I think. We've got yarn and plant and silk visible in that one bin. Oh, were you confused by this thing? Do I need to set this clothier's shop to take from anywhere? But I can't because it's currently claimed, so surely that isn't necessary. Surely we have adequate animal bones. There are lots of bones in there, for instance. Yes, it's forbidden, but surely that doesn't stop you picking up bones from it. I mean, I'll fiddle it in a moment just in case. And I would have assumed that your first thing would be the thing that's appropriate for the building you're in, which will be cloth. And we deliberately keep a stock of cloth for precisely this purpose. Aha, that wall's been built while I wasn't looking. It us, and has that been connected up? It has. Let's release that wall then. Right, so what do you want that you can't get? I'm confused. I'll try digging out a few more rough gems just in case. Right. So we've now got a definite supply of rough gems there, which are not enough to tempt you away. Just checking that you can like pick up objects and stuff, but yes, that looks fine. Plenty of what's going on? There's something I can do to make sure that this... I suppose I could check where that... Ah, no. Do I need to remove anything that's giving to that? Can I do it by remove? Do I need to mark this stockpile as no longer giving to that workshop, maybe? That might be the thing. Let's try that once we finish saving. That have a... Right, so that's giving to the clothier's shop. Let's remove that for now. See if that helped. We've apparently got some tribute from somewhere. A bunch of animals have, as is traditional, at the beginning of the year, been found dead. But the general unwillingness on the part of the dwarves to bury things means that they may still end up in the wrong places. Right, so you're still not going out and getting your cloth.
Is there a minimum order value? The minimum order is 1 jar. However, in order to get the best value shipping, we recommend you order more than this.
Right, we appear to have a small mob of goblins who have arrived in a place where I wasn't really wanting them to arrive. Oh well.
More than £20. I'm sure I can buy 9 jars of that.
Now, all being well, this war jaguar is going to go and accost them, preferably before they fill it entirely full of crossbow bolts. This, of course, is the kind of vile force of darkness that we can't just pay off. And so far, the jaguar is just getting hit with the bag that the goblin thief has brought. Right, that's a good start. That's bad, though. I think our jaguar is not very well trained for war. Possibly, like, we should send some some dwarves out to help. Go on. So that goblin has managed to become stunned. I think just by being knocked over by War Jaguar rather than, strictly speaking, injured. Why does the combat log only open on every other attempt at opening it? Aha! Successful biting, finally. We're definitely going to need a lot of leopards if we're going to try to use them to eat goblins' faces. Because a single giant jaguar appears to... that's probably good. So, yes. Right, now that the goblin thief is, I think, slightly incapacitated, the attacks might be getting through better. It's rather a long time since the last successful attack, but there is a lot of jumping away going on, I suppose. Oh dear. Giant war jaguar has fallen over. Sorry, war giant jaguar has fallen over. I fear this is not going to go well for the poor jaguar. Right, military dwarves are on their way, but poor jaguar. It's now passed out. That's not going to be good for it. I mean, they are wasting an awful lot of crossbow bolts on this, but... I don't think we need to watch any more of that. How are we off for, like, any military dwarves actually making it here? They're clearly all still getting dressed. Many of them are actually moving, allegedly. Any good tribute? I bet there isn't. Apart from wondering what a demantoid is. No. Oh dear, the poor war giant jaguar has died, I think. Yes. Now, any chance some, like... Giant hamsters are mostly dodging crossbow bolts. Any chance of some, like, actual military dwarves turning up? Suppose we could also raise the drawbridges, but... Yeah, that's probably best. We're sending out swimming capable dwarves, so... Should deal with that ghost as well. Drawbridges, yes. Like, if a dwarf happens to be on the bridge at the time it raises, it'll probably be safe. How are you doing? Tong snakes. Well, that was some fairly effective killing, yes. Goblin is definitely running away. Here's Goblin and pursuing dwarf. Right, that's that. Siege duly dealt with. Meanwhile, what's going on here? What is your problem? Square blocks, but there are like microcline blocks there. You can't possibly be short of square blocks. You want cloth. There is plenty of cloth in the neighbouring thing. Stockpile. You want rough gems. We've just dug some up. You want skeletons. And that's technically ivory. Maybe I have to unforbid the butcher's shops so that you can take things out of them. Feels weird, but just in case. No. Rough gems, square blocks, yes. Skeletons, pretty confident. Stacked cloth, yes. Forest, plenty. Shining bars of metal, yeah, I think so. Quarry, lots of rocks here. Maybe those rocks are set to feed. Do I need to do that in order to make that work properly? Doesn't seem to have helped. square blocks, quarry, the stone here, rough gems. Cloth, forest, shining bars of metal, square blocks. I can't see what you're short of. I mean, it's possible that I've got some horrible tangle in that kind of thing that means that this workshop can't take from the places it needs to take from, but I can't change that now. We don't have that button, so if it matters, then this is irretrievable, which seems unlikely. So I'm kind of confused. Just to be on the safe side. It's just dig out some perfectly ordinary rock that won't be in a stockpile, just in case that matters. Meanwhile, what's our slab situation? Do we have a slab for this other ghost? If not, let's make one.
So I've had a question on RC, but I can't quite make sense of it. Are all blocks square?
Are all blocks square? Yes. I mean, as in when we were asked for square blocks, I think that's any kind of rock block.
I took that to be the end of a sentence, so and so are all blocks square, and didn't think anything of it. Didn't know it was the first line of the sentence.
Right, so
Here, each of the clues has a definition.
let's just check if we have any memorials ready to be installed before we make one. No, we don't. Right. Because we've got a ghost here we could do something about.
They are totally random, they're reducing clues. So I've currently found cryptic part,
Toulon.
and I'm looking to try and find a clue whose definition is one called.
Right, there's now some available rock down here. Admittedly, some of it immediately gets grabbed for putting into a stockpile, but see, the slight problem with allowing people to butcher things is they start butchering things again, which makes items but like we have plenty of bits of agitated sea otter, for instance. Those should surely do for your bone requirements. I mean, I know that the cloth is can be like specific types of cloth, but I think that's only down to the level of plant or silk or wool, and we have plenty of all of them. If the dwarf doesn't get the thing they want, they go permanently mad and die. So it would be quite useful if this worked.
At least it's temporary. Raghu is not an unheard, I think.
But I can't understand what you're short of. Unless you're somehow unable to, unless you're like respecting some kind of restriction on where items can be used, but I don't think that should be happening. I think maybe actually forbidden items you might not go near, but there are plenty of unforbidden things in all those categories, I think. You know, I haven't actually checked metal bars. But like here we have a quantity of copper bars in a bin conveniently. So yes, I don't think we can actually claim there's a shortage of metal. Steph asks, is copper shiny? I think it's shiny enough. And we have silver and stuff in there as well, so it's not like we only have copper available. Moody dwarves aren't that picky. Find the fact that that he hasn't even picked up any cloth weird, because I would have expected that the first ingredient would be the thing that corresponds with the workshop, which would be cloth. But he doesn't seem to be picking it up. I don't understand why there's a forbidden crutch there. Let's unforbid that crutch. And those trousers. But like nothing in this bin is forbidden. No reason why you shouldn't be using it. Am I getting something wrong about blocks? I don't think so. Oh, that's probably good for you. So yes, those walls are still not being built. I don't know quite which one is the one that needs building before we can safely activate this. So we just got a note that someone had forgotten their training. Right, that means dropped into semi-wild. Specifically assigned Soda Latirog, who seemed to do a pretty decent job on the ravens. And actually, to be fair now, we've got the things we needed tamed, so we could reassign allow every trainer to work on anything that might still need training. Start with the ones who are least trained. Oh yes, this may consume so much trainer time that it would be better to not have so many giant hamsters around. Please observe, my dear moody dwarf, that there are down here a quantity of bauxite and a quantity of rough precious fire opals, which should deal with 2 of your requirements. And understand what you are complaining about. I'm slightly worried that you might be in some way so injured that you can't do anything. Like your legs are clearly paralysed, but that shouldn't stop you crawling around and collecting the items that you need. Forest and a quarry mean logs and boulders. I'm pretty confident about that.
That's so very confident.
Right, good. We are constructing another slab in the hopes of getting rid of another ghost. Meanwhile, we can at least attempt to get some of the dead animals buried, though some of those have been pending for an awfully long time. Just in case, I'll make sure our strange moody dwarf is actually allowed to do tasks. No, that didn't help either. Kind of wouldn't expect they would actually pay attention to it, but our dwarves who are allowed to do things and not forced into perpetual socialising are currently hauling animals to their correct places. This raven looks like it may be incubating some eggs, so I want to try to ensure that that doesn't get stopped, which will mean it's one of these two. They'll deassign those two from their trainers, just in case. Actually, no, that one's male and is thus probably not relevant. Because the one sitting on the eggs is female. Right, so that gives us a good chance of hatching another 3 ravens. See, when we said Sir Boris, didn't we mean Sir Morris?
Sir Morris is Brian Blessed.
Yes, and is the most enthusiastic. I think we should fix that.
Yes, you're right, aren't you? I have the Oris the wrong way around. So no Oris, no. Surely it's Gorgon. Gorgon.
Right, that's that fixed. Dizzyet asks, are ravens any good against goblins? Pretty sure they're not. They're mostly good at being sinister. No one is sitting on those eggs. Let's stop saving them. Now, the ones I'm hoping will be good against goblins are these leopards, but they'll take like 3 years to grow up. Why are you so unhelpful? Oh, an elven caravan has arrived.
I'll see if they'll sell you any of the things your moody dwarf is after.
I mean, it's unlikely to help, but we'll buy some. We'll get some just in case they turn out to be more easily accessible in some way.
Also, Steph has some wiki-related thoughts.
Pressing T, yes, unfortunately that's a pre-version 50 key press. Yes, and our problem, so the dwarves get things in order, which means that if they have got one thing, you can infer where in their list they should be, assuming that they don't have that same thing in the list twice. The problem here is that our dwarf has 0 of the things, and so I can't work out where their list starts. I would guess that it starts on cloth because they are in a clothier's workshop, and thus that's going to be the base material that they're going to be working with, probably. I mean, sometimes not. Sometimes they make like beds out of. Actually, I don't know. If they make a metal bed, do they make that in a carpenter's workshop? Surely not. Surely they'll make it in a metal workshop. So I think they must want cloth, but like we have cloth. But I'll buy some more cloth just in case.
If they make a metal bed or something sheet metal.
Thank you. Anyway, let's try to find some things that we could sell to the elves, in some kind of safety. Okay, which ones obviously do have saleable items in. That's probably enough. Curious, have my children got friends? Not really. I was kind of hoping that maybe the children might be able to get married when they grow up because they've had all their childhoods to like socialise and not be working very much, but apparently not. Well, you at least have a friend. Oh, though possibly not a useful one. Well, we'll see. I wonder where the elven caravan is anyway. Here we can see a dwarf hauling a raven to its correct location. I think part of the problem is that when they get scared by goblins, all the animals scatter and then head down into the fortress rather than returning to their proper pastures. And then someone has to bring them back before they won't naturally go back to their pasture unless someone moves them. And in the case of this fortress, that means there are an enormous number of giant hamsters that need moving. Right, Sodalaterog is at least sorting out some of the giant hamsters' training needs. Right, I think we now should have... Oh no, there is still that task ongoing. I was hoping we might have that memorial by now, but apparently not. Right, our broker is here, and they have unpacked. So I think we might want some more, some musical instruments for our new tavern. Don't think we want any of their animals. They don't bring wood in a usable form, or stone in a usable form. They've brought some fire clay. Let's get some clay just in case for some reason someone wants some clay. It's cheap after all. Don't think those are the kind of things that our moody dwarf wants from their quarry.
Fire clay.
Yes.
Is normal clay. Water clay is that horrible slippery stuff that potters deal with. But air clay, I think we'll have that.
So, yes, they brought a quantity of fruit. We could try to do something with some fruit. Right, let's buy some musical instruments, because I noticed someone's simulating a musical instrument, which doesn't seem like the best thing to do. Rope reed hood should be fine. Rope reed sock. Pigtail sock. It's a decorated rope reed hood, so I don't trust it. We do have a slight problem here that we've sold most of our elf compatible clothes already. Pigtail. Rope reed, rope reed. Rope reed, rope reed, rope reed. Rope reed, rope reed. Right, that seems to be enough. So we've gained some clay in case that's what the moody dwarf would like, but it seems highly unlikely. I don't think there was anything else except possibly some interesting fruit. You are willing to work in Forgotten Beast silk, so maybe I should be more relaxed about offering you silk. Well, let's try that. I don't mind annoying the elves now. We've bought everything we really want. Let's try seeing if we can trade silk with them, because I think we're meant to be able to. So we will try to exchange some silk items for fruit. Okay, they seem happy to take silk. Right, that is a useful thing to know. But we've got everything I think we really care about from the elves. They have not brought any interesting animals this time. Our moody dwarf is still as moody as ever. And our spare dwarves, i.e. the ones who are actually doing work, are mostly pasturing animals. But someone is working on the next memorial, which will be helpful. So how old are these? 1 year old. Good. They need to be 3 years old before they become adults. Oh, the elder cubs are 3 years old. So they must surely be close to becoming adult leopards. At which point we might hope that we can then train them for war and put them somewhere where they can do a decent job, maybe of the goblins, though in practice I think we're going to need an awful lot of leopards to usefully take down a goblin. Should only take 3 months for these eggs to hatch, so like by early summer they should be done. It would be very helpful if I could work out why this is going wrong. Like, we do have all the possible kinds of cloth. It looks like we may lose another dwarf to a strange mood-induced madness. Spinkbee suggests we should just use lava for, well, I think any purpose really. I think possibly as a more effective alternative to wart leopards. I think my plan is more to try to chain these one after another so that only those goblins that survive the water jump will end up in the hands of the or paws rather of the leopards, and that therefore the relative ineffectualness of the leopards may not be that much of a problem. It would be really nice if someone could deal with some of the dead animals. Be really nice if this dwarf, who I think knows nothing at all about stoneworking, which is why this is taking forever, could finish carving that memorial. It'll happen eventually, though. So what are my three dwarves who are not trying to socialise doing? Pasturing animals, pressing honey. I thought carving a thing, so if they're not, then that means we can install that slab. There we go. That will presumably happen shortly. Presume you're dizzy because you don't actually like being outside. Yes. And occasionally feeling vengeful at the presence of particularly hostile wildlife. Just having a look at what people are up to and whether it's interesting. But not very. Enormous explosion of miasma here because no one's throwing away the corpses. Why are you sleeping there? Ah, because that hasn't been set back to the correct thing. Should improve matters and cause the salty inks or whoever it was not to sleep in random inconvenient places. Oh, we have another raven incubating some eggs, it looks like. So again, let's forbid the eggs, work out who the raven is, plus trained female. Don't think anyone plus trained has any one assigned to them anyway. Right. Good news, yes, I should probably stop soon. Like, then we won't have the sadness of the moody dwarf going mad tonight. I kind of want to get rid of the remaining ghost. which is quite a high priority. Though admittedly it doesn't currently seem to be affecting the moody dwarfs themselves. Apparently my one of my unattached dwarves is busy pressing honey from honeycomb. Probably isn't very good at it. Presser even in that list? Yes, there it is. Dabbling presser. That will mean it takes them a very long time initially while they try to learn the technique. Yes, we don't seem to have, still don't seem to have managed to sort out actually getting any more dwarves. But like that will take a little while if it's actually going to happen, because like they need to become pregnant first, gestate for a bit, and then we'll only discover it where the dwarf is born. You don't get a little pregnant trait attached to a dwarf like you do in Crusader Kings. Yeah, we haven't seen any immigration recently, but we also haven't seen any notes on lack of immigration either. Oh, that door's been removed. Excellent. Let's put a new wall in there when someone can be bothered. The point of that being that we had some water leaking out of there because people kept opening the door. We are still producing giant hamsters in quantity. Apparently making rock doors is a weirdly high priority at the moment. Miasma everywhere because, see, previous refusal to actually dispose of things. Partly because everyone is set to... Right. Toulon Atheligath has been put to rest, which was the main thing I wanted to achieve. Well, I mean, the plausible thing I wanted to achieve. In memory of Toulon Atheligath, born 27, bled to death, slain by the goblin Zolak prison fiend in Ongor Kirk, the outrageous assaults in the year 119. Slayer of the goblin Madush Keeper Inks, the colour pale pink made her happy. So that's all of the ghosts I know of dealt with at the very least. But yes, we still have this strange mood that's not going anywhere. And a continuing population problem, and like soon I'm going to give up on trying to get the dwarves to breed because it's not apparently working very well. Or at least I'll either give up on it or try to find another technique. But that will, I think, do for tonight, because while it's not quite midnight, it's still quite late. And we did start relatively early. So I will say that it is time to save with that button there, and then say good night. Good night.